Hello there. This is MD. Here with you on SaskiYano. Here we go again. We are in a new After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, you can learn about text in After Effects. To follow along, open up the text file. And you open up a project that has even less in it than the previous tutorial. That's because we don't need a lot to create text and modify it in After Effects. So, let's look at a few different ways to add text to your composition. Just like so many other things. In your timeline here, you can right-click, choose New, Text, and then an empty text layer will be added. You can do the same thing from the layer menu up here. Layer, New, Text. It also has the keyboard shortcut. Ctrl, Alt, Shift, T. Usually what I do is I select the horizontal type tool, or what I call the text tool, because I primarily use it in this orientation. I click inside my composition and I add some text. And when you're done entering the text, if you press enter on the number pad, it will exit out of that text entry mode. Now I just want to repeat that. That's enter on the number pad. That's not enter on the main part of your keyboard. The enter on the main part of the keyboard. Or maybe label to return on some keyboards. If you press that, that will go to a new line. Which is not what you want to do. It might be what you wanted to. But if you're done entering text, what you want to do is exit out of this text entry mode. Which you can do by hitting enter on the number pad. Or you can just click away from that layer. Or you can switch back to the selection tool. Once you've entered your text, you can modify it in a number of ways. Very similar to other design programs. So over here in the character panel, you can change the font. You can change the font style. You can change the fill color for your text. So maybe red would be more appropriate. Maybe you want something a little bit bigger. They can see what happened there. When I change the font size, it's being scaled, if you will, from the anchor point. And the anchor point is set by default on text layers, based on how it's aligned. Here in the paragraph panel. So although wasn't highlighted it was really left aligned here. But if it's center line, you can see that the text will move if you change that after it's been created. But the anchor point didn't move. Similarly, if I changes to right align, although it just shifted right off the comp edge there, the text contents moved. But the anchor point did not. So, let's see what's going on there. Sometimes that can be annoying. If you are modifying your text, and then you change where the anchor point is, or the alignment here, after you've created it, it will move your text around. So sometimes, and oftentimes what I do is, I'll just move the anchor point manually. And that works fine most of the time. I'm gonna delete that and show you yet another way. You can add some text. Then I'm gonna grab the type tool. Again. This time I'm going to click and drag myself a lovely text box. In this time, if you were to add some text and a whole lot of text, in this case, I'm just going to copy some text. Your text will now live inside of this text box. And you'll have to adjust the font size to get it to fill properly. So I'm actually just gonna click away. And then select the text again. And then adjust the font size. Because it wasn't doing it properly before. And then as I resize this text, you can see things are starting to look more appropriate. You can't do that by adjusting the scale. A lot of times, I'll be adding text and it's only a couple of words. Or in this case, a few words. And then instead of adjusting the size via the font size over here, I'm more prone to grabbing the selection tool and just adjusting it like this. Usually, I'll reposition the anchor point and snap it to the center by holding Ctrl as I move it, because snapping is not turned on. By turn on snapping, then it'll snap automatically to a number of locations. But I will visually just kind of scale it. And it doesn't matter with text, because text is a vector layer. So, text is a vector layer. So it doesn't matter how big you scale it. Then you can scale it up super high. We bring that down here. And still, read 100% here. The edge is super sharp. And it will always be no matter how much you scale this. See, now it's up to 46,000. Which is absurd. Let me reset that. And to reposition it, I'll show you another quick tip here. Look, it's way down there. You ready for this? The keyboard shortcut Ctrl Home will reposition your layer to the center. It repositions the anchor points to the center of the comp. So, if you want to position your anchor point in the center of your text layer, you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl, Alt, Home, and then Ctrl, Home to reposition that right in the center. You can also right-click on your layer. This works with any layer. Go to Transform and then Center Anchor Point in Layer Content. Ctrl Alt Home. Center in View. Ctrl Home. Let's go back to all this jazz right here. If I change the scale, you can see that changing the scale of the entire layer. And I'm not getting my text to fill my text box properly. I'll just undo that there. In order to do that, I have to adjust the font size over here and also the tracking, which can be helpful to get everything to fit. I can also adjust the alignment or the justification and make it look exactly like what I want to see. There's more to talk about with text, but I'm gonna leave that for the next tutorial, where you're gonna learn about some basic animations you can do to text. So check that out. Finally, we are done for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment down below in the comments section. Also, if you want to learn more, take a look at our first channel, Everything PS. See you next time. Bye.